Welcome, everyone, to the Best Damn Podcast. I'm your host, John Keane. As always, I'd like to thank you guys for joining me today. We're going to be discussing the full moon in Leo, February 5th, 2023. This is going to be huge, guys. Huge astrology this month. So join me today. Let's talk some astrology. Hit the thumbs up. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, and share this link. That way new people can find us. Make sure to check out our news, our conspiracy videos. We just did a live, a day or so ago. And check out our tarot videos as well. If you'd like to book your own personal tarot reading or donate support to the channel, the information and the links is in the description box down below. So let's go ahead and jump into this full moon in Leo with the Uranus T-square. Man. The focus, guys, is going to be on our relationships, our love relationships. Matter of fact, close relationships, especially our intimate relationships, love relationships, are going to be particularly affected by this full moon on February the 5th. We have the sun, which will be opposite the moon, and this is going to highlight that difference or the differences between our intimate relationships. And with these differences highlighted, I feel like it's going to force us to take a look at the places where we clash. It's going to force us to take a look at the places where we're just not happy, or where we're not fulfilled, or where things may or may not be working in our life. And with the focus, put on that, it's going to bring us the opportunity to really bring this to the surface. And we're going to have one of two options. We're going to either we're going to, take the things that are down below, right, when it comes to our intimate relationships and down beneath the surface and the things that have been bothering us. We're going to bring them up to the surface. We're going to look at them. We're going to heal them, and we're going to manifest new beginnings, new starts, healing, restoration, and balance within our lives and our love relationships. Or we're going to choose to sever ties and go our own separate ways. The full moon will be square Uranus, which this will give this, because of Uranus and its rebellious energy, it's going to give us a need or for a sense of independence. A lot of us will be trying to find our own independence or even emotional detachment. Some of us could feel that the necessary steps to take at this time are to emotionally detach or to find ourselves with more independence. We also have 15 hours before this takes place, Venus will be squaring Mars, and we know Venus deals especially with relationships and love matters, and this is going to create sexual tension. This could also create competitive tensions between partners. And then the Uranus will also be conjunct the fixed star Menkar, which is associated with the troubles with opposite sex. So it's like all the ingredients are right, guys. All the ingredients are right? We have a full moon. This brings about new changes, new manifestations, new beginnings, new cycles, right? And it's going to be highlighted in Leo with, all of these interesting aspects. Uranus highly charging things, coming off of the 21st and the waning moon that we just had, which invoked this real impulsive energy. I feel like it's a perfect time for us, and a lot of people are going to make rash, impulsive decisions or erratic, impulsive behaviors, right? Because they're going to be driven with this need, right, to address underlying issues. And I feel like because of that impulsive energy, it's going to, you'll have that lack of clarity, really, that's going to, and the way that this is aspected with Chiron too, I want to say people to be careful because of the impulsive energy, that this can create soul wounds, right? Incredibly traumatic wounds for us too. So if these are, relationships that you may now feel like you want to release from, take a break from, take a step back from, or dissolve altogether, you may not feel like that after this energy kind of manifests in the next couple of weeks, or especially after, depending on your sign. This may be an indicator that there is underlying causes, okay? And I feel like it's more important for us to address what the underlying issue is within ourselves and within our relationships dynamics before we jump to being impulsive, before we jump to, making hasty decisions or choices that could, create these wounds or create these scars within our relationships that may or may not be able to be healed. we have to understand that when, that Uranus T squared and that high intensity energy, it's really hard to control. So you could have really heated debates, arguments, intense drama. Leo is always associated with the drama, right? This is also a good time for creative energy too. So, I mean, a lot of us can find an outlet right now by pursuing a more creative projects, right? So it's like, if you can tap into your more artistic side, say you're a content creator, you write poetry, you paint, being more social at this time, perhaps, and be careful with the friends that you're allowing yourself around, because this is also, an energy that kind of with false friendships or fake friendships, right? So it's like, don't allow yourself to be lured into the fake friendships, the false friendships, and like give up something real, something true for something that may just be an illusion or an idea that we fed ourselves, or an idea that we're using to reinforce our impulsive desires, our wants, right? And to kind of relieve that tension. We have to understand that anytime we have something going on, the key is to not react, but to adapt, right? And I feel like that's the challenge of this full moon. Is like, can you adapt to unexpected change? Can you not become reactive, right? And get outside of yourself, outside of your emotions, all in your feels. And a lot of people could at this time. I told you, it's going to bring drama. It's going to bring emotional outbursts. It's, arguments. This is going to be people separating, going their own ways. Even unhealthy competition. You could see people deciding to see new people or bringing other people into the mix, right? Or feeling like there's this need to compete with friendships or family connections, right? So we have to be really careful and see what the underlying problem is within ourselves. Why is our rebellious spirit being tugged on with Uranus, right? And what is a healthy, productive way that we can tap into this Uranus T-square high intensity energy and allow it to kind of manifest itself in a way that's going to be productive to us, positive to us, and reinforce good, beautiful changes and healthy relationships in our life? And like I said, I think the path to that is through artistic expression, right? And this is also going to be good. And you got to really go off of how each of your individual astrology is. Like, for instance, Gemini aspect will be affected in communication in the third house, right? So some of us may feel this overwhelming desire and need to express ourselves, express our dissatisfaction within a relationship, or express something that we've been holding on to, grudges that we've been holding on to for a while, things that we just need to get off of our chest, right? While Virgo, it's in the 12th house and it's affecting the subconscious. And it's like, why are we revisiting these same situations? Do you feel like there's a theme that keeps replaying in your life? And it's about overcoming the self-sabotage, right? Not doing the things necessary, or not doing the things that create an implosion, right? And kind of blow your shit up, and allow yourself to make changes in healthy ways that are going to bring in new patterns, new cycles in your life, right? So it's going to affect each and every one of us different, but we do know that the fixed signs are going to be impacted the most. And I am a Libra rising, so I'm very interested to see how this kind of plays out. Now, we know with home, family, intimate relationships, it's all going to be about what we want versus what we need. And we may wrestle with that. Some of us may have this, we know consciously what we need in our life, and, how we can create structure and balance and, things that are going to really benefit us in the long term. And it's like, that may not go or be aligned with what it is that you want, right? You may want a partnership, but it's not conducive to the type of lifestyle or future you're trying to have. You may want a relationship to work in a different type of way than what it has been working, but the truth is the relationship may not be able to survive the changes, or it may not even be realistic to try to place certain expectations on certain aspects of our life. So we have to look at what we want versus what we need, and like get down to brass tacks and really try to pay attention and dole out energy towards the things that we are needing. We do know that at the apex of the T-square, right, this is bringing the risk of rebellion, right? This is like the rise and fall of people, social status, assassinations can happen in the news and in media, unexpected events, natural disasters, instability, especially affecting the financial world or our money, the stock markets. And a lot of us could be affected financially, and it's financial aspects that are actually forcing us to make these changes. It's like financially, we're not where we want to be in life. Financially, our relationship doesn't make sense, and it's like we need to do something different. Now, as I was talking about the waning moon that took place January 21st, which was the new moon, astrologically, the full moon is always affected by the previous new moon, which was January 21st. And this is what brings us the risk of rushed thinking, right? Rushed thinking, rushed ideas, impulsive actions. And with that rebellious spirit, I'm telling you, that is a fucking cocktail for destruction, right? A cocktail for destruction. So it's all going to be about having the patience, the forethought, the willingness to kind of implement plans and ideas and to do things. Remember, always stick to your character, right? If it feels wrong, then don't do it, right? If it feels right, then go with it. And it's like, don't do something out of spite. Don't do something out of anger. Don't do something out of hurt. Don't allow your rebellious side, your impulsive side to win out, because like I said with Chiron, this could create deep, deep soul wounds or deep wounds within a relationship that may or may not be able to be healed in the long term. So we have to kind of keep that in mind, guys. It's like, we are going to be sacrificing something. A lot of us are going to be sacrificing things, and it's like deciding what we want to sacrifice in our lives at this time. Do we want to sacrifice our independence versus, structure, relationship? Do we want to sacrifice friendships versus relationships? And it's like, it's up to each one of us individually at the end of the day, but make sure, right, that whatever you're doing, whatever actions you're taking are something true to your soul, true to your personality, true to your character, and true to your heart. And it's not something you're going to regret later. Now, this will take place Sunday, February 5th. It's at 16 degrees. Now, the T-square pattern really is going to bring this highly charged, difficult to control energy. And we have the Venus square Mars, which also does, essentially the same. It's highly charged, hard to control. And like I said, all of the fixed stars will be activated by this particular alignment, bringing home intimate relationships into sharper focus, which this will take place for the next couple weeks. About the next 2 weeks, you can expect the microscope to be placed on your intimate relationships, your love life. Opposing forces, such as work versus home, or what you need versus what you want, inner tension versus external pressure. Like I said, friendships versus relationships, work versus relationships, money versus love, right? We're going to have these opposing forces and these conflicts come into the forefront. And this can lead to, crisis, essentially, existential crisis and conflict, and can even become incredibly taxing and draining to our energy. So make sure that we're focusing our energy and our intent on the right things. Now, the lunar qualities of emotions and instincts will peak at the full moon. So the emotions will be the highest, instincts and intuition will be the highest during the peak of the full moon. So this will be the time to actually use the increased emotional strength and the intuition to overcome relationship challenges, right? And I feel like that's incredibly important to say, because a lot of people during Leo full moons, it's relationship drama, it's lovers' quarrels, it's unexpected endings. Like I said, it's about being self-aware, open-minded, flexible, being able to adapt to the change. And the focus is on our intimate relationships, and that it creates sexual tension, and trouble with the opposite sex. And it's like that rebellious spirit. So it's like really important for us to not allow ourselves to become drained, for one, right? And give into a situation that's just pulling from our energy, right? Beating us down, making us feel like shit about ourselves. And it's not to feed into the impulse either, right? The reason that all of this is being brought up and brought to the surface is so we can look at it and we can heal it, right? Now, in some situations, and I feel like only you would know what works for your life and your love relationship and, whatnot. In some relationships, that is going to be the decision that's made is to go your separate ways. And it could come in a dramatic fashion, too. It can come in, the form of, new competition, right? Deciding to see new people, meeting new people coming into the equation. This is a big part of that energy. It's competitive energy. Sexual tension, a lack of intimacy, a lack of emotion, people kind of being, pulling back too much or detaching too much. This can lead to things kind of fraying and separating, right? And it's like, it's important to communicate at this time. It's important to communicate your wants, your needs. It's important to communicate your boundaries, your expectations. And it's also important to communicate right now at this time a plan on how you expect to resolve the matter at hand. If you see no way out other than to part ways, then by all means, you will live with that decision. It'll be your choice at the end of the day. And, you and the person you're with, you guys will, come to that conclusion on your own if that's what's best for you. And I'm sure you'll work out your healing on your own time, but make sure that it's not something that's coming from impulse or something that's coming from hurt or blind anger or anything like that, because that's going to lead to a lack of clarity, right? And we need a little bit of that emotional detachment in order to make good choices, good decisions. So it's like if you need to actually step back from a situation in order to see it clearly. And sometimes, guys, keep in mind, distance makes the heart grow fonder, right? Time can make the heart grow fonder. So it's like maybe that step back is what's necessary to make you see how much you appreciate a particular relationship or how much someone else appreciates you. That may just be the recipe here. It can provide the space, the healing, the relief necessary for things to move forward in a positive direction. For some of you, it's going to be about communication, right? And it's going to be like, I need to talk things out and I need to work out a cohesive plan on how you get past the issues, whether they're financial issues or issues with friends or issues with family. It's like, how do we overcome these issues and how do we, move past this and bring healing to this situation, right? And for others of you, like I said, it's going to be about severing ties, unexpected endings. And some of you guys may or may not be in control of that whatsoever. You may be on the receiving end of this, right? Where someone just, it may even seem like it's out of nowhere for some of you, right? Where the person's like, hey, I don't want to be with you anymore. Or, because of the money situation, we can't be together, or because of this family situation, we can't be together, because of the friend situation, right? And it's like, that could take some of you off guard. So my warning to you is if you're on that end of the spectrum and there are changes being made, remember that it's our subconscious, right, that kind of brings these things to fruition, right? So if this is a situation or experience that you've had more than one experience with, if it's like other experiences of your past, try not to react in the same way that you normally would, right? Try not to self-sabotage, right? If we do experience hurt, if we do, and we may not be ready to detach, we may be forced to detach, to release someone, to release a connection, to release a partnership and to let go, right? Spirit may literally be trying to force your hand. It's like, hey, sometimes there's unhealthy attachments or people aren't good for us, or, it's like just somebody that just doesn't appreciate you or will never respect you or will never truly love you for you, right? Spirit sees that, right? It sees that. And it sees that it's blocking your higher good, your true calling and your purpose. And it's like, Spirit doesn't want you to be bogged down and unhappy forever. If your values doesn't align with someone else's, right? Say you value family and, being at home and children and, all of that, and they value something totally different, right? Like, that's not going to work. It's like these differences are being brought to the surface so we can take a look at them. It's like, how do we meet in the middle here? And if there's no way to meet in the middle, how do we not react in a way that's going to be of detriment to us and create a bigger, nastier wound that's going to be harder to heal, take more time to heal? How do we avoid making impulsive decisions right now, and avoid, maybe breaking up with somebody when that's probably not what we truly want, right? What we truly need is to kind of slow things down or take a step back, or when we truly need is counseling or whatever, right? Each situation is different, or pushing us to go out and bring in competition, right? By bringing in someone new, which could ruin the relationship forever, and create a wound that can't be healed. It's like we need to make sure that we're careful and we're clever when it comes to the way that we're choosing to react or not to react to the things that are taking place during this full moon, guys. Don't create new wounds. Don't make a wound fester. Don't make it bigger and worse than it has to be. That's my advice to all of you, right? We're going to see these Cancerian aspects too. So, it's going to be like, kind of like the rebirth, rising from the grave here. We're going to see a lot of that, but deep emotional healing, right? And it's like inner strength, and it's really going to boil down to, do we have the patience to allow something to play out? Do we have the patience and the belief in ourselves and our choices to allow something to play out the way it's meant to? Can we avoid making impulsive decisions, doing things that we will regret later, saying things that we will regret later? Do we avoid, reacting to the unexpected changes instead of adapting to the unexpected changes? And can we tap into our subconscious and not make the same mistakes that we've made in the past, and not be, and look at your role. When this comes up, and the energy should be beginning to intensify from now over the next few days, and we're going to experience it over the next couple of weeks, right? So it could happen anytime between now and then, and it won't happen to everybody the same way, but this one is known for the lover's quarrel, guys. So and especially for the fixed signs, it's going to manifest differently in each of our lives. But it's really truly up to us. And like I said, with the Venus square Mars, the intensity it's going to be there, and it can get out of control. It's like, we got to recognize that our need to maintain control over our emotions, right? And if we need to detach to do that, then we got to detach to do that, and we have to look and pay attention to the role that we find ourselves in. What role are you playing within this relationship dynamic, right? Are you the one that is needing independence and needing space? Why do you feel this way, right? Why do you feel like you need this? And why do you feel like, what do you feel the solution is? And why do you feel that particular choice would be the solution? Say the choice to split up with somebody, or the choice to be with somebody new, or whatever the choice is. Why have you come to that conclusion? What part of you believes that, you're and make sure it's not impulse, right? Make sure you're not being impulsive, right? And you're jumping to impulsive decisions or conclusions that end up backfiring in your face, right? Because that's what can happen, especially with Uranus T squared. Like I said, it's kind of a high energy, and so is Venus square Mars, and it's high impact, and it's like, we have to remember that what we sow is what we reap. right? So, even if you are making the decisions to, cut ties, to create endings and changes and, for your own sake of independence and your own needs, your own financial health, like make sure you're handling it in the right way and you're going about it in a way that's becoming of you, right? Because you don't want to be on the receiving end of that karma, right? And remember, we're all dealing with human beings at the end of the day, you know? And it's like at one point in time, usually when this energy is involved, it was someone that you once loved or someone that you do love or someone that you have or had fond feelings for, right? So it's like, it's important to know that the ones we're closest to is sometimes the people that we can be the most frustrated with, right? And be the most upset with, and we can even treat the worst. So make sure that we're balancing our energy. We're not being impulsive. We're not making rash decisions. We're not doing and saying things that we will regret later. We're not creating unnecessary tension, unnecessary conflict, and we're not detaching to the point that we can't see clearly, right? And we're able to adapt, not react to the unexpected change, and we don't allow this highly charged energy to overwhelm us and to create new wounds and new situations that only make our position in life and our relationships worse. It's all about healing, having the awareness to know why we feel the way we feel, being able to look at that feeling, to look at that situation and come up with answers to how you fix the situation, to how you make something better, to how you heal a situation, and to how you bring life, right? It's about maintaining love, right? Maintaining love, maintaining the things and the people that we love in our lives, healing the relationships that matter the most to us in our lives, and finding a balance between our independence and our relationships, finding a balance between our wants and our needs, our friendships and our families, right? And I feel like if you have success in this full moon and you're doing your moon manifestations, right, this is a time to work on your love relationships and your moon manifestations. It's like, then you won't fall to the impulse, right? You won't fall out of control, right? By the time this is said and done, your relationship will be better for it. You will be stronger for it, and your love will be that much deeper, and your life will have that much more balance. So, I hope you guys are as pumped up as I am for the full moon in Leo coming up. Don't freak out. This don't mean everybody's going to get dumped or, people are going to break up or there's going to be crazy drama. It's just a prominent theme of this full moon. So I wanted to cover this and just kind of give some pointers. Like I said, the Uranus T squared, Venus square Mars, it's going to be intense, man. It's going to be intense. Don't fall to the impulse. Make clear choices, good choices. Don't create new wounds, and adapt, not react. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and share this link the way new people can find it. Make sure to subscribe, click all on the notifications bell, watch our tarot videos, our sun, moon, and rising. News, conspiracy, we just did a live, and remember, we're completely viewer powered. If you'd like to donate support to the channel, PayPal, Venmo, Patreon, Cash App, Facebook Messenger Pay, or join the Best Damn Fam, get access to our uncensored content with YouTube, Facebook subscriptions, Patreon, donate, support, get access to that, and book your own personal tarot reading, the Real Best Damn Podcast at